Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm just going to be doing a video on my top 5 classes I recommend trying out in the War Within. I get asked what are my favorite classes all the time, either on video or stream. So I figured I'd make a video on it and maybe convince anyone that's watching this video to give the classes a try if they already haven't tried it. So, do keep in mind, I know everybody has their own opinions. Some people may not even like my choices, and that's perfectly fine. If you disagree, let me know what your favorite classes are in the comment section down below, or what you just don't like about the classes that I specifically said. So, getting that completely out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right into the first one. So, because this is not just rating it on S tier, A tier, or anything, I'm just going to put them in the first row and what my top 5 favorites are and why I like them so much. If you've been around my channel, this one won't be a surprise. My first choice is Druid. Druid has been my main every single expansion except for Shadowlands. And the reason why I like Druid is they can just pretty much do pretty much anything. And I think what made me first like Druid when I first started this game, because this was such a long time ago, back when Classic was a thing. Um, I always like the Druid forms. I think they look really cool. They got really cool Feral Druid skins, and recently in Dragonflight they gave us some pretty cool Boomkin skins. I know not a lot of people really like those because they like to see the transmog, but that's also another one. Another good thing I like about Druid is mobility, and I believe I already said this. They can do pretty much anything: tank, heal, range DPS, melee DPS. They have some of the one of the strongest CCs in the game for PvP, which is Cyclone. They are able to heal themselves, which is always nice because playing a classic and self heal is really nice in my opinion. Um, and yeah, those are pretty much the main reasons why I like my Druid at the moment. It's just like I'm gonna go over it again. The mobility, especially mobility, is pretty huge for me. I like mobility classes because just being able to get away when necessary is really nice. I really enjoy the Druid skins. I enjoy self healing myself, and Cyclone is one of the few strongest CCs in the game. Roots Beam for balance Druid is very powerful. Also, Feral Druid Maim is very powerful. Unlike Rogue, it surprisingly hasn't gotten nerfed yet, so it has a very strong stun cooldown. And they make decent flag carriers if you have to help out your teammates as well for flag capture maps. I think that's about as much as I can come up with Druid. I love Druid, so I if there's any class I definitely recommend trying out, it would be Druid. This would be my first pick. I'm gonna go in order, by the way, and what I think is the most fun. By the way, I'm not gonna just pick out of the blue. I'm gonna go in order of what I've been preferring more lately. So yeah, I'm putting Druid as my number one pick, and those are pretty much the main reasons why. Up next is Evoker. Evoker has been my second favorite thing to play. It's one of the highest hitting damage classes in the game. You can hit some pretty high numbers. It also, if people are bunched up, you can do some really nasty AoE, especially with Deep Breath if everybody's just stacked. I've seen team fights won just because Evoker just stuns everything and there's nothing anybody can do, and their AoE cleave between everything going on is just so huge that it can sometimes win team fights. Also, they can be immune to CC, which is very nice. It's one of the nice things about. I know some people hate that ability, so I'm just gonna get that away. I know some people hate facing it. I completely understand, as somebody who plays a bunch of different things. But it's also nice being immune to CC because they are squishy and you can just go in without having to worry about it. Also, they have an honor talent that makes them immune to kicks when you use their defensive, so that's pretty nice. So you can just free cast with no issues. Between those two things, makes the book really fun. Also, it's a feature of this expansion, but the new hero talent tree scale commander for Deep Breath, you can control wherever you want to go, and it makes the class a million times more fun. Like, if there's any expansion, I can definitely recommend playing Devastation. Technically, they've only been around since Dragonflight, but if there's any expansion, I would definitely play Evoker right now. It's got to be the War Within because of that hero talent tree. It is so much fun. I honestly sometimes I even have more fun on my Evoker than my Druid sometimes, but I'm still loyal to Druid, and that's why I'm putting it in first place. And I've always had more fun on my Druid anyways, but sometimes I do. That's how much fun I have on Evoker right now. It's a lot of fun because of the scale commander tree. If you can get past the 25-yard range, that's really kind of my only complaint about the class. But if you can get past that, I 100% recommend playing Devastation Evoker. It is so much fun. And also, their self healing, unlike other classes, are not really that bad because some classes' self healing is pretty awful. And Devastations is actually pretty decent for the most part. It does decent self healing. Although, to just a word of warning, the mana regen is pretty awful. So it's pretty much a reverse. Like the self healing is good compared to other classes, but the mana regen sucks, and the mana regen is not bad on the other specs, but the self healing kind of sucks. So it's about the only thing that's bad about Devastation. But yeah, highly recommend playing Devastation at the moment. It is a lot of fun in the War Within. Definitely my second favorite thing to play at the moment. And yeah, so all right, up next, this is where it kind of gets tricky because I do have a few other things that are really fun. But if I had to pick a third thing that's probably my favorite at the moment, it would probably be Windwalker Monk. And the reason why I like Windwalker Monk is because I'm still a huge fan. I mean, it's not really surprising with what you're seeing up here at this point, but I'm just a huge fan of anything that has mobility. Mobility is huge for me. I'm sure a lot of people don't like kind of, walking around, trying to catch up with people and stuff like that, but I'm just a huge fan of mobility, and Windwalker has a lot of mobility. Also, having a Transcendence port is very, very useful, especially on certain maps like Warsong and Twin Peaks. If you have to run a flag and you put up a port somewhere, and you can bait somebody and port back up and manage to save the flag, so you for a few seconds, then that might give you a winning game. Or if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you just put your portal somewhere and nobody can reach you up there, and you can save yourself that way. Transcendence is very nice. Also, Fist of Fury has a parry for the uh, PvP talent, which is very nice, so melee will have a harder time against you. Also, a new mechanic this expansion is the Whirling Dragon Punch knock up in the air thing, so it can knock. I mean, you can use it as kind of like an interrupt versus casters, unless they're like insta casting, like Frost Mage with Ice Lance, for example. But it's a pretty nice PvP talent for fun. I actually kind of like it. They have decent self healing as well. Similar to Devastation, and unlike Devastation, they actually use energy instead of mana. So yeah, pretty much for all those reasons, I would recommend trying Windwalker Monk. It's a lot of fun. Also, I forgot to say they did change them this expansion. They're more kind of about like there's two different ways. Celestial Conduit. I haven't really played it that much this expansion because I prefer Shadowpan, but Celestial Conduit is more about burst damage with their hero talent, and then Shadowpan is more about like kind of like consistent. I've been preferring more Shadowpan, but it is more reliant on buffs than like, for example, in Dragonflight, when the way you played Windwalker was like playing Serenity and just nuking your target whenever it's up, and the War Within, you pretty much just like I said do consistent damage. You don't have to worry about your burst. You still have it with like your images and all that, and Strike of the Windlord, but it does more like consistent than actual like kind of like burst damage, or at least the way it feels like it. While Celestial Conduit does like a mega burst and like it's good for like 1v1s and all that stuff. So anyways, that's the reason why I'm putting Windwalker in my as my third favorite. So I'm putting it in the uh, category right there. Up next, I would say is probably Warlock. I would say Warlock. I was debating on whether to put it as my fifth, but I'm gonna leave it as my fourth. I am a huge fan of Destro. I really enjoy Destro. Just popping chaos bolts and hitting high numbers is really satisfying to me. It wasn't like that at the start of the expansion, but I would say, I mean, some people could probably argue it's probably still could use maybe a tiny bit of buff, but I think it's actually kind of fine the way it is right now. Because it does hit pretty high numbers now, or at least it feels that way to me. I mean, it could be overthinking it, but who knows? But I do enjoy just hitting huge chaos bolt numbers. And Destro just feels really satisfying to play. Just pushing that chaos bolt button and just I don't know, something about chaos bolt is just satisfying to me. Also, Shadow Rift is one of the most fun abilities in the game to use. It can win you on certain situations. For example, if you play Epic Battlegrounds, you can teleport people behind something. You can even drop a portal outside the boss room and teleport people out and resetting the boss, and that could win you the game. Uh, Battleground Blitz, Eye of the Storm, for example, and Rated Battleground, Eye of the Storm, for example. There's these rocks, unlike randoms. I still don't know why they don't do that for randoms, but for those two specifically, you can just teleport them uh, under the cliff there, and since there's rocks, they can't line of sight heal down there, unlike they can with randoms, and that can give you a second to get you a kill. Um, and it's just very useful uh, for that kind of situation. Also, similar to Windwalker Monk, they do have gateway and port, so you can kind of like juke people while jumping off and then teleporting back up, and they might follow you, saving your life because they, unlike Windwalker, they don't really have that much mobility. And if you do want to use Burning Rush, you have to sacrifice your health, so that's a kind of a downside. So, but regardless of that, even with no mobility, I still enjoy Warlock because of the reasons I listed. I love Destro's Chaos Bolts. They're satisfying. The ports help with mobility. Shadow Rift is one of the most powerful things in Battlegrounds, in my opinion. I also do enjoy Affliction Lock, which if you enjoy dot type of specs, then Affliction could be for you as well. I'm not a fan of demo, so unfortunately I can't go into that. But if there's any two specs I recommend for Warlock, I would definitely recommend playing Destro or Affliction. If you're into either a dot class or a high hitting DPS range spec. And last but not least, for my final spec, I would recommend is probably Hunter. And the reason why I would play Hunter is I feel like it's one of the more beginner friendly specs in the game. If you're new to the game or want something that's a little bit easier without having to focus as much, I would probably play Hunter, unless you're playing like something like Survival. Yeah, Survival is a little bit harder spec to master. Marksman Hunter is pretty beginner friendly, and BM Hunter is beginner friendly at the moment. Currently, as recording this, Beastmaster is the most powerful Hunter spec at the moment. And regardless, no matter what Hunter spec you play, it is uninterruptible. If you don't want to be kicked as a range, like if you want to play a range class and you don't want to be kicked, because I'm sure a lot of people obviously get annoyed with getting kicked on their casts, but that's kind of the whole point of the caster. But if you feel that way and you want to play something that can't be interrupted, then Hunter will be for you. You cannot be interrupted no matter what, unless you get like line of sighted or something like that. But even as Beastmaster Hunter, your pets can continue doing damage for you. But yeah, all three Hunter specs, in my opinion, are pretty decent at the moment. Marksman Hunter got a little bit weak dispatch, but yeah. I really enjoy Marksman Hunter at the moment. It's a really fun battleground class. It always has been. Um, it's even gotten stronger this expansion with having better defenses. It has like two survival. It has two defenses with reduced damage taken. It has exhilaration. It has turtle shell. Obviously, you can kite. You got Master's Call. You got Roar Sacrifice. You have like tons of traps. They got way more utility with this expansion. So I enjoy my Hunter a lot. But yeah, if this is the order of the list I had to pick that I like playing in order right now, I think it would be these five. Uh, I would make an argument that I do enjoy Frost Mage probably maybe a little bit more as well. I had a hard time picking between Hunter and Frost Mage because I do enjoy Frost Mage a lot too. But yeah, those are my top five at the moment. Everybody always asks what are my top five favorites, and well, these are my top five favorites at the moment. So, anyways, let me know if you guys are planning on trying these out. If you guys enjoyed them at the moment. If you guys disagree with some of my choices, that's perfectly fine. But this is pretty much what I have been enjoying at the moment. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. See you guys later.